Incredible.
Look, I have a lumbar pillow right now. That's how tight my back was. That's how tight my back was. I can't even imagine trying to play basketball right now. No.
Crazy.
I got through.
First time.
It's crazy.
Well,
I coach the kids, but like I'm so used into coaching, I don't shoot or nothing. Like I just rebound for my kids, so I don't ever have time to really even think about playing.
We're in the worst spot because we're not that far out where we want to go play with guys at the YMCA.
Right.
We're like, no. But then also we don't want to stay in the type of shape to go run at UCLA. I don't want to be in that type of shape because you got to stay in shape. Look, I'm 40. I don't need any more basketball.
I have no desire.
Yeah.
I have zero desire. Like I said, they were just talking after we were done training. Let's go play. And I happen to have some shoes. I just wish I didn't have shoes in my trunk yesterday.
Your guys are a little bit older. So like my guys are 3 and 5. So it's like in 10 years when they want to go to the park and like hoop,
right.
I'm going to be 50. I'm like, I'm not messing with y'all. So that window is closed.
I thought you were 50 now.
Right. 40, about to be 41.
If you want to know the conversations that happen during commercial breaks, that was during a commercial last
Mics are always
week.
hot.
Mics are always hot. Oh, that's great. It's real. Oh, man. Matt and I have been playing against each other since 15, 16 years old. Like his California team with Deshaun Stevenson, Carlos Boozer, they were loaded. And we were the little Arizona
No, and then Rich came on the scene and dominated.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
They're just because they didn't know me. That was it.
No pickup, apparently, after this show. That's the breaking news. All right, guys, it's time for Bring It.
The ball deserves to go in the crowd after a bull move like that.
I think it's bull. I just thought it was bull.
Don't give me that crap!
Young Doc Rivers gets me every time. Is it BS or real talk? Let's start with John Wall and the Rockets. Took a 49-point home loss to the Grizzlies last night. It was the largest win in franchise history for Memphis. Yeah, I would think so. Wall was asked about the loss after the game and simply said this blank, terrible. I'm not gonna say any of it because I'm not getting fined like Marshawn Lynch. Yes or real talk?
That's 100% real talk.
Real talk. I think this team, after James left, they wanted to show that they're a worthy team. It can do, and they played well for a little while. But I think reality set in. Christian Wood's injury, departing with DeMarcus Cousins. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised if this is a completely rebuilding mode post trading deadline because you can still get some from Victor Oladipo. A lot of teams are talking about PJ Tucker. This team can look completely different at the end of the trade deadline.
I think that they are one of the teams that could be really terrible down the stretch, but make the postseason next year. Right? I think they are. I think you get Christian Wood back. He has a summer. They can build out. They can get some assets for some of these guys that a lot of people want. You're going to get a top 5 draft pick, and then all of a sudden you could be out of rebuilding mode. So I think Houston's still in the spot where this could be a small window of terrible basketball, and then they could be back next season.
I love that Wall has bounced back, though. I'm just happy for him individually because he's been through so much the last 2 years as far as trying to get his body back on the court.
Absolutely. And your point about the trade deadline is interesting because this is a year with the play-in tournament. You have more teams that are going to at least stand pat. Even if they're not buyers, they're not going to be sellers because they think they can get in at least to a play-in game. And you have teams, frankly, especially in the Eastern Conference, who have not been in the playoffs in a long time. So getting that play-in spot means something to them. So they're not going to be sellers in the same way. So if you're Houston and you can be a seller, and Woj reported over the weekend that Victor Oladipo turned down a contract extension. So he's an expiring and is definitely someone who you might see moving out there. They could be in an advantageous position because there's not going to be as many sellers out there, which means
and Tucker's been waiting on his new contract for 2 years and it hasn't happened, so he's not happy either. So we'll see what happens.
All right, let's move on to the Warriors because also got blown out. Lakers did that last night. Steph Curry was asked after the loss. He's well aware the Warrior championship run has made them a target. Take a listen.
We have to remember, even when we're playing well, we won 3 in a row. Teams still want to beat us and beat us bad. They still have, a lot of memories from the last 5-6 years.
Just want to clarify there. He meant games, not championships. 3 in a row. BS or real talk?
Real. This is the realest talk I've heard in a long time. I mean, people took that dynasty run personally because they were stomping on people and taking names that whole entire time and dancing and celebrating and winning championships. People don't forget that, you know. So until they right this ship, people are going to take pride in trying to beat the Warriors down every single night.
And one thing that we gloss over because the game has changed. Remember all of the turning around and high-fiving each other because Steph is that good of a shooter? Like 90s basketball players, early 2000 players, that would have been a fight. That 100% been a fight, but the rules are changed and all that stuff is good and fine. Now other players are doing it, and that's where he's changed.
It's a great point, though, because back in the day,
you could never. So the point is, they were doing some quote-unquote historically disrespectful stuff on the court and whooping you, and there was nothing you could do about it. And backing it up. So now that you're down, oh, no. We're going to put that gas pedal. I don't care how far you are down. We're going to keep that gas pedal. And when I say that he was doing disrespectful stuff, that's part of the game. Like, it's cool. It's a bat flip. It's whatever. But 20 years ago, 10 years ago,
remember it.
They would never been allowed. So there's still a little of some old heads in this game that want to put it on them for the show.
Matt, what was the flip for you? Because you both played against those championship teams and then you played on one of those championship teams in terms of experiencing how the league saw them from the inside and outside.
It was frustrating because you couldn't really do nothing with them. I mean, you can get as mad as you want, but Steph, Clay, KD, and Draymond orchestrating, you were at their mercy. And like I said, everyone remembers that, and getting a chance to join it and see it, it's even funner being on that side.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah. You know, but
Matt was doing some of that disrespectful stuff too.
As long as Steph has a Warrior jersey on, they're going to be a target.
Yeah, that is true. All right, Luka Doncic led the Mavs with 27 points as they beat the Nets on Saturday. After the game, I asked Luka about a notable comparison that we're starting to hear between himself and three-time MVP Larry Bird. Take a listen to what Luka said. You know, Luka, one of Larry Bird's old teammates, Cedric Maxwell, has been calling you Larry Bird reincarnated. And your coach, who also was a teammate of Larry Bird, told us this morning that he does see the resemblance. Have you looked at old film of Larry Bird? Do you see the similarities yourself?
I mean, yeah, I looked at it. I saw a lot of films how he played, but you know, you can't compare me to Larry Bird.
All right, guys, I want to make clear in that question, this was not like us at ESPN making this comparison. This was first Cedric Maxwell and then Rick Carlisle agreeing that he sees some of it, Larry Bird's old teammates. Do you think Luka's right that you can't compare him to Larry Bird or that you can compare him to Larry Bird? Ooh, split.
I think you can.
Okay.
And not from a championship overall career perspective. Larry's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. But like Cedric Maxwell said, he's a 2K version of what Larry Bird would be with all the footwork and the ball handling, his size, his ability to get a bucket at any time. I think it's high honors when former teammates of one of the greatest players we've ever seen can compare a current player to him. And it's factual. When we do it, it's a little different. We never played with Larry, don't know Larry. But when guys that played with him and went to war with him can give you that kind of compliment, I just think Luka's being modest.
I think Luka's being modest, and rightfully so. He should be modest only from a place of, like Larry Bird, we know this. If Larry Bird, had the three-point line, all the things, like if the game would have been different, who knows what Larry would have been able to do, because he was one of the greatest shooters that we've ever seen. Like Steph, Clay, him, Reggie, Ray, like he's in that category. Luka's not quite in that category. As far as being a big player that moves at a different pace but controls the game, there are so many similarities to the game, but to compare him, you start to look at legacy versus like who he is right now. Now, Luka's got a long way to go before he could be in a conversation with Larry Bird. But are there skill similarities? Yes, but I think Luka's doing the right thing by not well, I see that he's my favorite player. That's who I want to be like, and my goal is to be better than Larry Bird one day. And it's just like,
and then people start killing him for that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think Luka definitely played it right. But as in our position, I think we can say it. I think Luka did the right thing because, like I said, if he said what Richard just said, you think you're Larry, you're this. You know how social media in this world is. But Luka definitely has a lot of similarities, and it's going to be exciting to see him stay healthy and do what he does.
Well, there's fans who obviously think that Luka is going to have a Larry Bird-like career because
I'm up there too. I think so too.
He had the top-selling ever NBA card. Am I getting that right, producer Danny? More than $4 million.
Crazy.
No rookie card has ever sold for that much, or no card ever has ever sold for that much.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what's funny is I got a text from Gary Vee, the guy that's on social media all the time, maybe 6 months ago. He said, Matt, buy trading cards are about to explode. And I looked at it, saw it, okay, I don't have time to buy trading cards, and now it's all you hear is how expensive and how,
people
are buying portions. People are buying portions of trading cards. So there could be 10 of us, and we will buy like that card, and then let it sit there, and then let it increase. You're like,
There you go. Our friend Dave McMenamin on his IG feed is always going through the trading card stuff. There you go. Someone just spent $4 million.
Crazy.
Coming up, Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Bucks.